Hi, my name is Priscilla Hernandez, and I am mom to Zacky, who will be entering 4th grade this upcoming school year. It's really important that the school administrators all know what your child's allergies are. So if there is a problem, they're able to identify it and they're able to react quickly. You know, parents often ask me, how do I communicate with the school without coming off as too aggressive? It's real easy to get passionate about your child's allergies and assume that, whether it be the school or another parent, that they just know what the impact is. But you can't assume anything. I think the best approach to it is working with your school and communicating with your school in not just a passionate manner, but more in a practical way. It's easy to be caught up and to have a lot of passion in regards to your child, and that's okay. But you have to understand that when you're communicating with other individuals, there's a sense of we need to come together for a common cause, and that's our child. So with Zacky's allergies, we've experienced food allergy reactions within the school a couple different times. It wasn't until 1st grade year that we had a really big scare, and that's when it became something that was it hit home for us in a significant way. Well, one day he got one of his safe dishes, which was pasta and bread, and he was eating, and I guess apparently halfway through his breadstick, he realized that it wasn't feeling so great. And so he asked to go to the nurse, and the result was him going into anaphylaxis. And they had to administer an epinephrine EpiPen to him. And I got a phone call from the nurse from school, and she called me and she said, hey, I think Zacky came into my office. He ate something. He says that he thinks it might be seeds, sesame, but we're looking on the computer and we're trying, because at that point he was still young, and we're looking on the computer and I'm showing him what sesame seeds look like, and I want to make sure that that's what he ate, because he said he turned the bread over and he saw sesame in the back. She's like, I think he's fine. He looks okay. He just says he's itchy and that kind of thing. She said, I'll call you back. That was the one thing she said, I'll call you back. So I said, I'm just gonna wait for her to call me back, because I had my 2-year-old with me. And I said, I'm not gonna panic. And then all of a sudden, a couple of minutes go by and I get a phone call again. And this time it's frantic. It's in the sense that, not from the nurse per se, but she's pretty hyped up, but she's like, are you here yet? Are you here yet? And I said, no, I'm not, because maybe in her mind she thought she had told me to come, because things progress really quick with food allergies. And I heard Zacky and he was crying, and she said, you know what, I'm gonna give him an EpiPen. And it was partially like she was on the phone, but also it was happening, and I could hear her like saying, no, I need to give this to you, and I hear Zacky saying, no, I don't want it, I don't want it. And I still get, pretty emotional at the story, because it's very vivid in my mind that he, that was the first time that he had this kind of reaction, and I couldn't be there with him. You're a mom, and you're like, that's my baby there, I need to be there. So I remember when that happened, and I even jumped in the car and I took off down the hill, like for maybe a minute away, and I turn around, I'm like, I don't have my 2-year-old with me, because I was so frantic to get my keys, get in the car, and get down the hill. So I had to come back up, and Jacob's sitting in front of the TV, didn't know what was going on. And I took him back in the car, and I went back down, and then I went to his school. And at that point, there was a couple people there. It caused a commotion. Everybody in the school was a pretty small school, so everybody kind of knew. And then I took him to I took him to emergency, because the procedure after you give an EpiPen is that you go in and get checked out by a doctor. So that happened, and it really changed our lives. It made it. We had to look at it in we looked at it as a serious way before, but we had to really look at it in a different way, because there you see the stories, and you can't make mistakes. That's the thing, you can't make mistakes, and a mistake can end in a way that you don't want it to. It is essential that you work with your school and your administrators and everybody involved in your child's life if they have a food allergy. You know your child the best, and you're your child's advocate, and you're the one that's going to be able to communicate that the most effectively with the school.